welcome to the first online event of Helsinki Ethics 2020. My name is Mia Rosenqvist and I want to welcome you all on behalf of Procom. Now, without further ado, I will give the floor to Helsinki City Deputy Mayor of Education, Pia Pakarinen, who will be sharing highly topical insight into ethics in education in Helsinki. Pia, already now, thank you for being a part of our important event. She will be interviewed by Christina Forsgård, who is the Ethics Chair of ICCO. Thank you also to you, Christina. Please, Christina and Pia.
Okay, on my behalf, I really am proud that we are holding this conference in Helsinki because ICCO represents 66 countries, about 3,000 agencies around the world, and we have about 40 to 50,000 communications consultants thinking about ethics almost every day in communications. But I'm really, really happy to kick off this event with Pia Pakarinen. She absolutely is a remarkable example of someone who is actually eating her own dog food. She is in charge of the education in the Helsinki area, from all the way from the little kids to liberal adults education, but not university. But she actually holds 3 degrees, university degrees in laws, in economics, and in political science. And she's also a very linguistic person. She actually speaks 7 languages and has been a lawyer linguistic in the Court of European Union. So I'm really happy to introduce her to you. And please, Pia, tell us what is ethics in education in Helsinki and how do you see this current situation?
Thank you, Christina. You have been spying on me. So welcome everyone to Helsinki. It's nice almost to see you all. I'm Deputy Mayor Pia Pakarinen and Deputy Mayor for Education here in the city of Helsinki. And ethics is something that we think about a lot in education here. I'll show you some slides just for inspiration and just for your entertainment, not needing to just listen to me all the time. So let's go to the second slide actually. So when we are thinking about education in Finland, we are 102-year-old nation and a very small one. So all the time during these 102 years, we have had to use the full potential of our people. We cannot just simply afford to lose anyone, and we have to use the potential from both genders, all the races, all the ages, and regardless of the background of the children. So now this is this famous closing the gap that we are talking about nowadays. It has been in Finland all these years, so we have been forced positively to close the gender gap. And we have been able to give the same education for both girls and boys for whole our history. Now also closing the race gap, we have more and more people coming to Finland who are not born in Finland and who have a very versatile background. There are children who come from the countries where they have already got a very good educational background, but also from countries where they may be like 12 years old and never have had a pen in their hands. And that's where their path in the Finnish education system starts. And also people have very different backgrounds concerning the financial resources and also the background of the parents. We know by now that if the mothers are very well educated, it's more probable that also the kids will be well educated. And we need to level the ground for everyone. Actually, what I very often say that it is very easy to establish one excellent school. It happens in every country. There are one excellent school or a few excellent schools, but it's very hard to make every school a good school or an excellent school. And that's what we are trying to do here in Helsinki. We are lucky to have very good teachers in every school of Helsinki. Actually, you may know that we are very famous for our education in Finland, and the very basic reason, I'll share a secret with you. It depends on the fact that our educators, our teachers are very well trained. It is also a very popular profession, so that we get the best pupils to want to be teachers. So our secret is actually our very good, very well trained educators. And luckily, very many of them also have a heart for social things. So that makes it still now quite easy to get well-educated teachers for every school, and that's how it works. I had one delegation from a country, developing country, and they asked me how could they get a system like this. They have very good private schools there, but their public school system is almost non-existent, or it's not very good as far as the quality is concerned. And the only advice I could give them is that they have to get taxes, more taxes from their citizens. This is something that we value very much in Finland, that we get the good education and it is free for everyone. So even if we have private schools here, also the private schools are free of charge. And that's how, like if you have very wealthy people or not so wealthy people, they go to the same school. So as far as the ethics in education in Finland are concerned, it is a question of equity and excellence. And here is something that we very often think about when talking about education in Finland. So for instance, now at the Corona times, we decided to have some remote learning weeks. If we have to move now to remote learning, we are going to do it like 2 weeks at school, 1 week remotely, 2 weeks at school, and etc. And it depends on the fact that, of course, not everyone has someone to take care of them at school, at home, and explain what is like helping them with their homework. So we prefer kids to be at school. Now with the epidemic situation with Corona gets very difficult, then we have to think again, and we want to minimize the time that the kids spend at home, just to make sure that they have equal opportunities. And I like this picture because in the first image, it is assumed that being equal for everyone, so that we give everyone the same share of education or help or anything, that would be fair. Now we've seen that, well, of course, everyone will benefit from this chair or block who they have there. Everyone have a little bit better possibilities to see what happens there, but the smallest kids, it doesn't help him that much. but they are being treated equally. On the second one, they are given different supports to make them possible to follow the game. But that is also already a very good situation because everyone can see what is happening there. But in the third image, all three can see the game with any support. And I think that is something that we are trying to do, not just giving support all the time, but giving everyone the chance to stand on their own feet. So we are talking about the equal opportunities versus equity in opportunities, and the third picture is about equity. So removing the systemic barrier and helping everyone to help themselves, actually. So I think this is the basics of what we think about in education in Finland and in Helsinki particularly. And you see here our schema of education. We want to be the world's most impactful place for learning. And what does this impactful stand for? For me, it means that whatever is the background where you come from, you have the same chances, equity-wise, to become whatever you want in your life. And it could be, not everyone wants to be directors or should become directors or high politicians, but something that you want to do. And that means impactful to me and to us in Helsinki. It all starts with early childhood education, and this is the place where we should start. So segregation starts very early in the childhood. Not everyone has even, not everyone can be even sure that they have a proper breakfast at home or proper meals during weekend. They may come hungry to school or to kindergarten on Monday morning. And that's where we should start. So support the families and also support the kids so that they can kind of get the support they need to be able to help themselves during this long lifetime actually curve of education, from basic education to like universities, etc. And this long like free liberal adult education which comes further. So the youngest customers I have seen, they have been in our parks where we also have support with a very low threshold for the families. She was 10 days old, came with her parents, and the oldest customer of mine I have seen was a 94-year-old woman learning languages and everything in between. So I think that education is one way of giving the people more equity in their life. So Kristina, anything you would like to ask more?
Well, I think this gave us a great overview of what how it's organized and what are the basics of it. But in more specific terms, I think we in Finland we have a quite good infrastructure, and we were quite ready to jump into all digital last spring very quickly. It was basically overnight, but there has been a lot of challenges and wondering what is the right thing to do at current situation. And even though there are good deeds, we have to make hard decisions. So I'd like to tackle some of the hard decisions that you feel that you as a representative of education in Helsinki, what are the challenges that you saw from ethical point of view that you know that they were hard for you to make?
Well, the change to remote learning was a hard decision because, as I said, that we know that not everyone has someone to like cook the meals for them at home or to help them with the homework. We decided to give everyone a chance to have a meal, pick it up from the school. That helped a little bit, but this having help for the homework is more difficult to tackle. But we decided that every child should be contacted at least once a day directly. So the teachers were calling them, and all this school welfare group contacted all the kids. We know that, for instance, children welfare calls were the amount of the calls to the child welfare department, it went down. So normally, very often, when at school teachers get worried about a child, then they contact the child welfare authorities. And now, when the kids were not there, it didn't happen. So home is not the best place for all the children, and we are aware of that. So that's why we want to focus on having the kids at school as long as possible, in order to avoid that there would be very inequality, in the sense that if the parents were, for instance, working from home, they could help their kids, and then there are these kids who are alone or can't get any help from their parents. Then, as far as the digitalization is concerned, of course, we gave all the kids the material that they can use. But for instance, one point that we forgot is that for some families, there is no Wi-Fi connection at home. So in order for the kids to use their machines, they needed a parent at home, like connecting with their, well, everyone almost have a cellular phone, and then you can like use the net from there. But it needs someone to be at home, and not all the parents want to be at home all the day. So that is also a source for segregation if you can't use your equipment, even if you have it. So there are a lot of things that you might not think about, and which came as we had 2 days to do this transition from education at school to remote learning. We had 2 or 3 days actually to accomplish all that, and not all the teachers were prepared for that. So also, it also depends on the teacher you have. Some of them were more agile with the digitalization and so on. But now for this autumn, we are better prepared. So I would say that it will be more equal. Then if we have this system of 2 weeks at school and 1 week at home, then we can help the kids who are at home, who we already know that will be needing more help. It will be better. But of course, it's full of these ethical questions. We also have this principle of positive discrimination, meaning something like we have this picture with the kids seeing over the fence, that we give more money to the schools where there are more immigrant background children, or the level of education of the parents of the school is lower. So we then can manage to have smaller groups for pupils for these schools. And this is also something that we have been thinking about from the ethical point of view, that we want to make sure that everyone has, well, at least almost the same chances.
I'd like to end with a question that is, I think everyone in the world is now, and we are all facing, all adults and all children, but basically adults who are carrying a lot of responsibility. And as teachers have a lot of responsibility, and they are very responsible. They're very committed because they are highly educated, at least in Finland. But with a lot of responsibility, you understand that there are lots of pressure. What is a bit of a concern is how are the teachers holding up? What is the mental health situation with the teachers who are now sort of struggling basically because they care so much of the kids. So how do you support the teachers in this situation?
Yeah, that's a good question, and we really have to, and we are organizing new activities for the welfare of our personnel. It is the same for any profession here in the city, because also, well, everyone has had to go a little bit over the edge, and for instance, our social and health authorities have really had very harsh conditions, as well as the teachers. So we are having programs for welfare for our personnel, and of course we try to say all the time that you don't have to be perfect. It's enough. What you can do is enough. You don't have to go over any of your personal limits. And we also have decided that we don't want the teachers to do both, teaching at school and remote teaching. In some smaller municipalities in Finland, they are doing both, but in Helsinki we decided that you do either or, because it would be too much for one person. So we have also noticed that it takes more time to prepare these remote learning lessons, and we also have to give more time for preparing for the remote learning. So I know it is a problem, but luckily also one thing that has been good is that we get a lot of feedback from the parents, and also the teachers are having hard times sometimes with the parents. And now that the parents had to be at home and see what is happening, I have heard that it has been like the feedback has been very positive to the teachers. So since all people are experts in education, since we all have been at school and we know what it is like, now it has been a chance for the parents to see that what it is like nowadays. And very many people have said that I didn't realize that is so versatile, that it's not just listening to the teacher. It's much more nowadays, and I think that it has also had positive sides. The parents are having more respect for the teachers, and I think that's good.
That's a good point that you made there. I have actually seen a lot of posts last spring. Parents were posting on Facebook, there's a math problem I cannot solve, and my kid is a 5th grader. So it sort of sparked a lot of enthusiasm around parents to discuss what we have learned and how we learn. So I guess this was a sort of closing the generation gap as well, because they first time they saw that there are new things and new kinds of ways of at least calculating, because they were saying that there's a new way to calculate this and it's better. So I think it was a learning journey for everyone, and I'm really glad that you brought up that with every cloud there's a silver lining, and we can learn from this experience. But how do you see? Yeah.
Yeah, I'd like to add that 12% of the kids, when we asked after the spring period, 12% of the kids said that they learned better remotely. And one of the reasons was that there's less bullying at school when you are being remote. And that's something that we have to take very seriously. Some people suggested that we should have like a separate remote learning school for kids who are bullied at school, but I think that would be a bad idea. That's also one ethical problem, because I think that it would be not a good signal for the bullying person that he or she could get a person out of the school. I think that it should be much more vice versa, and that's, I think that one of the basic rules or basic skills you learn at school is how to cope with other people even if you don't like everyone, you have to be polite to everyone. And if like you remove some people out of the school, it would be a bad signal. So, but we have to make sure that everyone is like has a good time at school and not being bullied, and we are also working for that.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. School is much more than learning new things from books and from teachers, but it's learning to be in interaction with other people. It's making relationships that will last a lifetime sometimes, and it will create something good between us. So definitely school is a very, very, very unique ecosystem of relationships, and if we don't have that, we don't really have those skills to work together. So
exactly.
Yes, you're absolutely right. Yeah. Well, I think that sort of wraps it up for today. And I really thank you, Pia, very much for this chat. And I hope that this kicks off Helsinki Ethics Conference with a sort of a nice touch to something that we all have as a gem in our hearts, our ability to learn and educate ourselves throughout our lifetime. So it's not only kids, but we as adults, we learn all the time. Thank you, Pia, and thank you, Procom. This was great. Have a good night.
Yeah. Thank you very much, everyone. And thank you, Christina.
Thank you. Bye-bye from Helsinki.
Bye.